We have had plenty, and I mean plenty, of Christmas slashers throughout the years. So, how can we do it different? What about going back to one of the best Christmas movies of all time in a lot of people's eyes? It's a Wonderful Life, and twisting that around and doing a slasher around that. Did it turn out great? Did it turn out awful? Let's find out with myself, Dave, and Jesse. Welcome in, everybody, to another Hometown Ghost Stories horror movie review. I am your dashing host, Rob Coakley. Joining me, as always, is Dave Wilkins.
Hello, Rob Coakley.
Hello, Dave Wilkins, and Jesse Wilkins.
What's going on, gentlemen?
And guys, it is time to do what everybody loves, and that is something Christmas themed. And let's do a horror movie review for It's a Wonderful Knife. I was excited to start getting into some of these Christmas slasher movies. There's a few that I do want to cover, but this just came out. It's on Shudder. If you haven't seen it, you can pause this review, come back and watch it, or you can hear our takes, get our scores, and then go watch it and tell us what you think of this particular movie. But for the time being, Dave, will you give us the honor of giving us a synopsis for this movie?
I will. Winnie's life is less than wonderful one year after saving her town from a psychotic killer on Christmas Eve. When she wishes she was never born, she finds herself magically transported to a nightmarish parallel universe. With the murderous maniac now back, she must team up with a misfit to identify the culprit and get back to her own reality. So this is a Christmas slasher, kind of a parody of the old It's a Wonderful Life movie from, I think, the 40s, right? Or somewhere around there, 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good. There's a lot of things I didn't like about this movie. There were some things that I did like about it. For instance, we got a pretty fantastic performance from Justin Long, as always.
Yeah.
His over-the-top, intentional, nonsensical performance was thoroughly entertaining. And there's a couple of stars, a couple of recognizable faces in this. I don't know if I'd call them stars. I guess there was that guy from that show who was
Joel McHale. I love Joel McHale.
I like Joel too.
It's not Joel McHale. It's that guy from that show. He's
Yeah.
that guy from that show and a couple other things. That's what you know him as. And as soon as you see his face when you look him up, you're like, oh yeah, that's the guy from that show, or it's that guy from the show.
That show, Community, is an awesome show.
Yeah, but none of us really watch it.
I watched it.
Stop it.
What do you mean stop?
It's just that guy from the show.
I watched the hell out of Community.
Yeah. No,
Donald Glover, great show.
Yeah. Well, this movie it had potential. I like the premise. I like the idea that they put that spin on the original It's a Wonderful Life movie, and they kind of did their own thing with it. And it could have been good, but it wasn't. I feel like it was confused. It was a confused movie. You had a lot of wacky, over-the-top performances from some of the actors, and then also you had this really like hard-hitting, sentimental kind of feel, and it ended up being almost like it just felt like a confused movie. They didn't know what they wanted to be. Is it a comedy slasher, or is it like a serious slasher? So I feel like they didn't do a good job distinguishing themselves as what they were exactly. I thought the killer costume really sucked. It looked like if Assassin's Creed was combined with a department store mannequin. I thought it was really bad.
It looked like a cloaked sperm. Like who are we kidding?
Yeah, and although I don't think the acting was really all that bad. I thought the main character was really flat right up until the end when she was way over the top.
Hey, what was that about?
And she looked like Kurt Cobain. And yeah, I overall did not like this movie. I thought it sucked. I thought some of the kills were lame. They were bloody, which is fun, but
Some of the kills in the beginning were decent and kind of fun. Candy cane kill.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
It reminded me because that's the one that I have an issue with.
I have an issue with everything, so I'm just being nice for a fraction of a second here before I hop into what I really think about this movie. But some of the kills, the way the movie started, I was like, yeah, this might be all right. It's okay. It's corny. it's a really bad Scream knockoff, which is what the whole movie ends up being. It's just another one of these Scream slasher movies. Mass killer, who could it be? Oh man, some of the kills started off decent though. I was like, okay, this might have potential here, and then it didn't, and then it was absolutely garbage. And I did like Justin Long's character, but he threw me it with the what was he? Do you have like capped teeth or something going on there? I don't know if you guys watched The Righteous Gemstones, but he was Baby Billy from The Righteous Gemstones. He was like the exact same guy. He's doing the accent. He's got the same mannerisms. It was just like he is doing his best Baby Billy impersonation, and it was okay. He was like the only part of the movie that I slightly enjoyed, but I felt like I only enjoyed his character because it was Justin Long, and Justin Long in every horror movie that I've watched has just died in some absolutely god awful way, and he always that's just his character.
The Sean Bean of horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
in this one, he died twice.
Right. But neither one was all that special. I mean, the first one was okay. By the way, we're going to spoil the movie. I think Rob already mentioned that, but the Jumper Cable's death was fine. And then
that was a good one.
Second time around, it was okay. I think the first kill in this movie, was it the old guy?
Yeah.
It was so bad because
it was horrible.
When they went to slit his throat was already bleeding. I was like, what is this? Why is he bleeding already? Like, it didn't follow the knife as it was slitting his throat. It was just bleeding everywhere right off the bat. And it was poorly done. It was poorly done. And as it goes along, it's just the movie makes no sense. It's all over the place. It's corny. And then towards the end of the movie, it just spirals out of control into this absolute, like they tried to get silly at the end with it. And it was just this movie sucked ass.
Yeah, it kind of feeds into my take that it had no real identity. Like they didn't know what they wanted to be. Like, is it's supposed to be funny or not? Which is it? Pick one.
Well, it started off slasher kind of scary. You're like, then as soon as you see the bad guy, you're like, that's not scary.
Mm-hmm.
But they were still trying to keep that up. And then in the middle of the movie, it was kind of just all over the place with this alternate universe situation going on, and nothing really made it. Nothing was holding. Nothing was like, oh, this is the story. They even did an exposition dump like 3/4 through the movie, and it still was like, I guess that's what's going on. And then towards the end of the movie, it just turned into Black Christmas 2019, and it was just absolute garbage for the rest of the movie. And then at some point, when she's screaming at the sky, I can't believe that made the cut in the movie. She's yelling at the clouds like an old man shaking his fist at the clouds. It was so stupid. This movie sucked ass. All right, Rob, go ahead.
I didn't hate it as much as you guys. It's not a 5-star review it's not even a 4-star review for me. I think it had potential. The thing that caught me off guard, and I feel like an idiot for this, I just feel like an absolute dumbass. It's called It's a Wonderful Knife. And I knew it was a play on It's a Wonderful Life in terms of the title of the movie. I had no idea that they were going to go and just like do a It's a Wonderful Life, like slasher parody, for lack of a better word. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh my God, they're actually doing It's a Wonderful Life. So, right. They did as much as you can with a slasher in the premise. I think they did. So I found that different, right? The thing I liked the most about this movie is killing the killer in the beginning. Like that is so different than most of the slasher movies you see. I'm sure there's a few out there that we can think of, but I did not expect the killer to die immediately. I thought we were just setting that killer up at that point in time. So that caught me off guard. I was like, oh, well done, because did not see that coming at this particular moment. I didn't know where they were going with it. Then they go where they go with it. Let's stick with this little beginning opening. The candy cane scene kill looked cool. Missed opportunity. You have two people kissing right there. You put the candy cane through both of them.
Yep.
What are we doing? Like that's the big miss in that, and I think it's the biggest miss in the entire movie.
It followed one of the most awkward scenes ever. So it's a kissing scene. Doesn't matter who it's between, but it's a kissing scene, and they stop, and dude just looks over. He goes, "Fuck, you're a good kisser." Like nobody has ever said that in the history of kisses. You're a good kisser. It's the creepiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
The kissing scenes in this bothered the shit out of me. All of them. And this is just my personal like tick. I can't stand like this lip smacking noise when you get in kissing scenes. If it's over the top, it was so fucking aggressive. Like they must have just had the microphone just in someone's face as they make those smacking kissing noises, and I just wanted to fucking puke on every single kissing scene in this movie, and it literally a full point off.
I didn't notice that, but God knows I'm not going to go back and watch this movie again to find those.
So the candy cane scene should have been your signature kill of this movie, in my opinion. It's set up for you. Should have been the scene that
have the murder weapon be a candy cane.
Sure,
that'd have been funny and cool.
But except the movie was called "It's a Wonderful Knife."
Yeah, exactly. But if you're gonna do it and make it so that people talk about it. It was still a good kill, but you have the potential to make this the reason. Like even if you guys didn't like it, you'd be like, but you should go see it for this particular scene or watch till this scene.
I agree that could have been a cool kill, but no, I'm not gonna have that on my conscience telling somebody to go see this movie.
Well, I'm saying like at least go check out this kill. That's what you do with horror movies. That's what you do with slashers. That's the premise of a slasher. A slasher is about the kills.
Mm-hmm.
You are telling people to go watch this movie because the kills are good in this movie.
What I have to have a good movie though.
Not necessarily.
This didn't either.
Not necessarily with a movie.
This wasn't a good movie.
The kills in this movie were not good enough to carry the plot. They absolutely were not.
You do not have to have a good movie with slashers. You have to have a fun movie. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they almost got there with this. I don't think they nailed it by any means. I thought there was potential for it, and I thought there was just too many missteps along the way. I don't think it's as bad as you guys are putting it out to be.
Oh, it is. There wasn't a single kill in this that I was like, well, that was a good kill at least. Like most of them were kind of just missing the mark, or they did a lot of like off-screen kills. Like you had one scene that could have been cool was when he was taking the axe to one of the guys outside the party.
This was where I was going. So you just kind of stepping all over me here.
I'm sorry, because you didn't even vaguely start to bring up that point, but I will step
all over you. Because I got cut off like usual. I didn't even get to give my preamble. Let you talk. I let Dave talk.
All right.
I wanted
king of the flow of a podcast. Go ahead and have at it.
I wanted to talk about you guys bringing up the costume, the face, the mask, kind of dumb. But what I like about Christmas slashers is you get this unique opportunity because you get to add snow. You get to add this white suit for this particular character. And it really makes the kills look more violent because of the way the blood is hitting the atmosphere. And going to this scene you're talking about with the axe, kind of off screen, but I really liked seeing the way the blood was splattering across like the killer himself. Like I dig that look specifically for Christmas slasher movies, because unfortunately, if you're going to do a slasher in the winter, you have to almost make it Christmas themed. It's like just the way that everybody goes with it. You can't just do this winter, which I'd be fine with personally. I like snow, and this was like that one thing I liked doing.
Valentine's Day slashers.
Yeah, we did a Valentine's Day slasher, but I don't know. I mean, I think this is the one positive we gave, like the very little positive we gave Black Christmas 2019 was that one opening scene where you got the blood within the snow. Like it was the one thing that visually looked decent in that movie.
That was also a snowman kill, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The first kill in this movie was a snowman kill as well. Can we just get a snowman killer for the whole movie and maybe you'll actually make a good movie here?
There is a snowman killer movie.
Hell yeah.
Maybe we can review that.
Oh my God, we should. I forgot about it until Jesse just brought it up.
This movie was 97 minutes long, which was 97 minutes too many. So at least it was decently timed.
This movie was an hour 27. This was 87.
Oh, 87 minutes. Oh, okay.
97. You're right. Yep. I'm sorry.
Right.
Fuck.
Wait.
Nope. You're right.
Am I?
Yeah. Right? No. I'm right.
87. You're right. But you being wrong for a little while made me feel good about myself. Now I'm back to not.
Yikes.
I thought it was shot relatively well too. My biggest issue of this whole movie, like there's issues in this movie. The thing that made zero sense to me is why is everybody hypnotized and like this thing at the
There's
end,
zombies at the end.
zombies like that. That was to me the absolute. If there was any shred of decency in this movie,
The
that
end of this movie was so
like
stupid.
what are we doing here?
Yeah,
Like is
you had
this
that, and then it's like
you didn't set this up at all.
right. So the only two that weren't zombies were like his henchmen, right? Who were
Mhm.
just dragging people to the stage to get stabbed or get punished or whatever. But then he sees these two high school girls exchanging haymakers on this dude that's their boss. Then they're the bodyguards. They don't do anything about it.
Yeah. This
Terrible bodyguards.
the premise of this movie was pretty good, and the setup, I didn't like it, but was whatever. Like it could have gone. It was at a point where it could have gone. I was like, if they wrap this up strong, it could be a decent movie. But the ending just spiraled into
Yeah.
complete nonsense. Absolutely just fell apart, and the ending really tanked this movie for me.
Yeah.
The movie tanked this movie for me.
You know what else was silly in this movie? It was supposed to be when she goes to this alternate reality, it's only a year later. And the year before was just the vision for this shopping plaza that the guy wanted to make.
Mhm.
And within 1 year, this entire thing is built and up and running and just perfect. It's like there's no way. There's no way that would have ever happened.
Right.
Make it 5 years later. Make it 2 years later. I don't know.
2 years, definitely. I could see. It depends on how ambitious the project is. They could get something up like that in a year.
I don't think so, man.
I think they built Encore Casino in Boston in 16 hours. They got that thing up. So as soon as they got it approved, they're like, yes, going up now. Yeah. But that's
no
a
wonder
casino.
why that shit
It's a little
flooded
different.
like 2 weeks later. I don't know. I thought it was shot decent. I think Joel McHale was misused in this movie. This is part of that problem you're talking about. Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? If you're doing drama, cool. But if you are doing comedy elements, why is Joel McHale not doing any of the comedy?
Mhm.
He's real wooden in this movie. And then he has like a real serious scene. So I just don't get what the use of him was in this movie.
Right. Maybe he was trying to break himself outside the box and not just always be used for comedy or just some TV show. But
Which is
I actually
fine.
didn't have a problem with his acting in this movie
No,
at all. I thought he was pretty
no.
good.
I agree. I just think that like just kind of misused. Just you're not used enough. It's Joel McHale. I mean, maybe they had him on set for a certain amount of time or something, but it just felt like we could have got more out of him, one way or the other. So I think that's kind of all I have to say about this movie. Do you guys have any closing thoughts on it?
I guess like the very ending. This is a slasher. It is a horror movie. It's
Mhm.
pitched as a horror movie. Where's your horror ending? This is
Right.
my go-to critique on a horror movie. If you have a horror movie that has a happy ending, points off. That sucks. You can even have a happy ending, but if you add a little horror twist at the end, something little, right? Anything that just makes you go, ooh, that could be something, or ooh, that was kind of dark. Anything, but you cannot just end a horror movie on a super happy
Nice.
note.
Agreed.
We talked about this a little bit earlier, Dave. I wish that they pan to her going to the other girl's house at the end, and when the door opens, it's the killer, and it ends with her getting stabbed by the killer in this other, alternate reality.
Mhm.
Is the way I would have liked to have seen this play out. But
Yeah, that would be an extreme ending, like an extreme different ending.
Mhm.
Even if they had something small, like she walks into the house and she doesn't realize that like the killer's outfit is hanging up on a coat rack
Oh
or
yeah,
something, because
that's
it would make you think like, oh shit, is the killer in there? Is he hiding? Is it her or something? So just something. It doesn't have to be like an extreme dark ending. Just a little something, just to remind you that this was a horror movie and to leave you a little unsettled.
Want to get into some ratings here, guys?
Sure.
Jesse,
Uh-huh.
you seem to have the most extreme.
Yeah, it's a 0.2.
You put this on the same level as Skinamarink.
Yep.
This movie was, dude. This movie had a plot.
What did I rank Skinamarink? Did I just give it a flat 0?
No, I think he was 0.1.
Yep, 0.2 for this one.
Twice as good as Skinamarink.
This movie wasn't even fun. Like there was nothing good about this movie. Like it was shot well. Sure, they had money. What did they do with it? They paid actors and had them do things that they aren't that isn't their strength in a movie that is a comedy. You're like we brought this up. There's nothing good about this movie. It isn't. I know it's a slasher. Some of the kills were okay, so you get 0.2 out of that. But the story sucked. It made no sense. Maybe it's a little different for me because I don't think I've ever seen
It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, I think that's part of your disconnect.
So when this alternate reality thing happened, and now because I've seen this movie, I think I understand what probably happened in It's a Wonderful Life. But it's just like I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Why are we doing that? And then she's screaming at the clouds, and then it ends this big stupid happy ending. It just sucked, man. There was just
they have. I know you guys brought up this screaming at the cloud thing. There's a scene in It's a Wonderful Life that is adjacent to that, basically.
Right. And this is what I had assumed was that, oh wow, you guys are just gonna spoil It's a Wonderful Life now.
This might be literally the beginning of the movie
that hasn't seen it yet, like me. Anyways, so maybe this would have made a little bit more sense, and maybe I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But for me, someone who hasn't seen that, or maybe hasn't since I was a child, I watched this and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here, and it wasn't even enjoyable as is. So if we go back to like the previous movie that we reviewed, Thanksgiving, at least it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
At least it was a lot of fun. And after watching this movie, I would like to amend my Thanksgiving score and give it another 10th of a point. And
what the fuck is going on right now?
Are you going to just go through every movie we reviewed and just
I need you to go back and amend my Thanksgiving score by one more decibel of a point.
Doing that.
That's fine. It's fine. Yeah, this is an unwatchable pile of shit. It's not enjoyable. It's not funny. It's not scary. It's just it's not good. Moving on. What do you guys think,
Dave?
I have it at a 1.6 for all the reasons that I said. Missed the mark. A lot of points taken off for different things. The ending points off for that. Points off for the nasty kissing noises that really stressed me out. And just generally not being a well-executed movie. Very sloppy. I do like that it was like the way they tried to tie it to the It's a Wonderful Life story, but they didn't execute it the way that they could have.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of the same gripes. I just think they did it a little bit better than the two of you are saying. Doesn't mean I think they did it great or good by any means. I'm just going to give it a 2 flat. I think it is watchable. I do think that seeing It's a Wonderful Life will help you watch this movie. And there is a problem in that, right? Because we are talking about a movie that is 80 or 70 years old. Not everyone has seen it. I know it's a Christmas classic. Don't come for us. Like, I know that this is a yearly watch for a lot of people, but it's not a yearly watch for everybody. And hell, the Wizard of Oz was a yearly watch for a lot of people at one time. And I think that that's starting to slip a little bit behind the scenes to some people. Again, don't come for me. I'm not saying you shouldn't watch it, but I think that seeing It's a Wonderful Life helps you understand this movie. And I'll give you credit, Jesse, because I shouldn't have to have seen It's a Wonderful Life to still be able to enjoy this movie, right? Like
I should, as at a minimum, be able to understand why things are happening, just things that make sense. My biggest gripe overall with this movie, with all the things that I've said, is just the killer looks so stupid. I do agree. I like the white cloak with the blood. That's actually a good point. It does make the scenes seem even more gory than they already are. There was enough gore in this movie to, I don't know, to pique your interest a little bit, but the mask was so stupid. It literally just looked like a sperm. It was a cloaked sperm. And
they could have done a little more with that, but
they could have done a lot more with it. It was literally a blank slate. It was literally just a white nothing.
Technically, they could have done a little more then too.
Could have gave my eyebrows. Just give my eyebrows, maybe. I don't know.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for this horror movie review of It's a Wonderful Knife.
Now, let's thank the patrons real quick. All right. For our VIPs, aka the Church of Bucky McHale Elders, we have Allison V, Blazora, Captain Kitty Tibbles has 10 toes on 1 foot. We have Dakota G, Donnie N, Glitter, Tease, Cammy from Washington, Jeannie R, Joseph S, Lisa J, Mom and Pops W, Nick, Robert H, Demon King, and Inspires Gaming. Thank you guys for being VIPs for the Warren's Words. We have Captain McTibble's Snake Bites with no punctuation. We have Kath Q. We have Chris Connolly, LBPS founder, next HTGS guest. We have DC, Elizabeth Young, Eugene M. We have Geography is Hard. We have Lily. We have I Hate Rob. We have Jake V, Janice G, Mar. We have Mike, Get in the Mercedes, Blake. I got to say that in the voice, though. Mike, get in Mercedes. Blake, we have Papa Squatch. We have Rachel B, Sarah Cook. We have Siobhan, not Sharon. Steph A, Evil Queen of the Church of the Stephanies. We have the Refrigerator. We have the other Rachel B. We have the Wahini Pirate. We have Al Capone. We have Alicia E. We have Anthony, Rob is old as hell T. Arcade Hunters, Brandon W. We have Colby doesn't proofread. We have Crystal Quinn. We have Hooper the Hellhound. We have Huska Castle is better than Dracula's cat. Oh, not Dracula, I'm sorry. We have Huska Castle is better than Draper Cabin. Boom. We have an update on Huska Castle.
Wow.
Love it. We have Huggy Bear, Joe R, Julie S, Kelly C, Chris. There's literally no one named Chris in this spot right here. We have Kiralee J. We have Let's All Take Some Nightmare Juice. Page 2. We have Mark Twain in the Haunted Crate. We have McTibbles Eats Crabite Legs with Hook Hands. Megan S. Marshmallows. We have Mina Each, Morgan S, Mariah M. We have one of Rob's yeeted orphans. We have orphans don't exist, just like Rob's family. We have Paul from St. Louis Pork. We have Rob's allegedly poorly orchestrated snake orgy gave me poisonous crabs. We have Sam from the Paul. We have Sassy Dave eating a fresh mean sub over a railing. Sharon V, Solar Flare. Soph. We have the majestic dual crowns of Dick King. We have Thick Boy Freddy, allegedly poorly yeeting 13 crabby orphans out of that cabin. We have Wayne Christie, and we have Fujwata Bang Bang loves Captain Tibbles, who has managed to remain here for so long for completely free. Thank you guys so much for being on Patreon. $3 a month will get you there. Ad-free episodes, early access to content just like this, as well as Patreon hangouts and yearly merchandise for VIPs. So join up, have a good time, talk to us, and we'll catch you guys on Tuesday.
We will catch you guys on Tuesday. We'll start letting you guys know what movies we're going to be doing. Some of them are going to be winter themed. Some are going to be Christmas themed. We'll let you know in the Discord so that you can watch along and be ready. I have some classics planned for the next few weeks. So
Hell yeah.
Until then, we will catch you later. Peace. Hey everybody, Rob from Hometown Ghost Stories here. Wanted to thank you for checking out this piece of side content. If you really liked it, you can head over to Patreon, and for as little as $3 a month, you can get access to these a little bit early. Also, we are doing member-only stuff on Patreon, such as our History of Ghost series, where we talk about like Onryos, Banshees. We let you know where they came from, their origin, some stories associated with them. It's a lot of fun. Until then, if you look over this shoulder here, you can find one of our earlier episodes. And if you look down here, we got another side content episode. Until next time, from Jesse, myself, and I guess even Dave, thanks for watching Hometown Ghost Stories.